Hi there, Sarah Tuck here, and welcome to another episode of Trainer Tip of the Week. This week I wanted to do a video that would be relevant for a couple of the clients that I have. They're currently suffering from having flat feet or collapsed arches. So I thought I would do a video to show them some exercises they can do to help strengthen the muscles in the foot and ankle so that they don't have this issue going on. So I'll go over what is flat feet, why is it bad, and I'll tell you the 3 moves that I always do with clients that have flat feet in order to help alleviate it. Okay, so first off, what is flat feet? Well, flat feet or collapsed arches is basically when you have no arch or a minimum arch on the inside of your foot. Now, how can you tell if you have this? Well, some people will just stand barefooted and look down and you can kind of see if you have an arch or not. What I like to do is I like to get people to wet their foot and then step on a piece of paper towel. This way we can see if you have a high arch, you have a normal arch, you have a flat foot. If you have a little bit of an arch, we can kind of dissect a little bit more. And you can also keep that piece of paper towel, and as you work on creating a stronger arch, you can compare it to see if you're actually progressing. Now, the other thing I'll do with my clients is I'll get them to stand barefooted, and I'll take a credit card or like a driver's license and I'll stand it upright, flush to the outside of the ankle bone. And I want to see it contact the ground and their ankle. If there's a space there, that can also show us that we're collapsed in our arches. Now, why is it really bad if we have flat feet? Well, our feet is what connects us with the ground, with the rest of the world. It is our base. So we need a stable base that we are moving off of. If we don't have a stable base to move off of, then that means we're going to be using things that we shouldn't be using. We're going to be less stable. We're going to lack the performance that we could have. So there's all kinds of things. Not only will it mean you can't run or perform as good, but it'll also mean you're more likely to get pain and injury down the road. And not necessarily in your ankle. It could be in your knee or it could be in your hip. Right? A lot of times when we have pain somewhere, that's not actually the problem. That's just the symptom of the problem. Okay? Now, what I like to do with my clients, if I notice that they have flat feet, usually they have orthotics, which is fine. We'll have them continue to wear them at the beginning of training, and I'll get them to try and kind of weed off them as we strengthen the foot and ankle. So that means maybe wearing them for an hour or 2 less a day and working up to the point where you're only wearing them for an hour a day to the point where you're not wearing them at all. Now, for these exercises, we'll do them bare feet. So the first one is called the towel scrunch. So for this one, you're just going to sit in a chair with a hand towel on the ground in front of one of your feet. And then all you're going to do is use your toes to scrunch the towel underneath of your foot. Now, I recommend doing about 20 reps per foot. Now, you want to really focus on just using your toes in this move. Okay, exercise number 2 is also done in bare feet. For this one, we're going to need a lacrosse ball, and we're going to do it standing. So in this one, you are sticking that lacrosse ball underneath your ankle bone, and you're squeezing your feet together to hold the ball there. Now I'm going to continue to hold the ball there, and I'm just going to come up onto my toes and to the outsides of my feet. Our tibius posterior, that is what we're working on this, is responsible for pointing our toes and going to the outside of our feet. So by working this muscle, we can help, again, strengthen that arch in your foot. So you want to do it nice and controlled, hold at the top for a second or 2, and then come back down. And I usually recommend doing this for about 10 repetitions. Now, lastly, sometimes it's not really the arch in the foot that's the issue. It's something to do with the knee or the hip. So when you do a squat or a deadlift type motion or even a lunge, watch if as you do it, does your knee drop in? Right? That could be because you have flat feet, so then the knee drops in. But if you're working on strengthening your arches and those are good, but the knee is still dropping in, right? And then that's causing the feet to then drop in, then we might be looking at a weak glute med. Okay, so a glute med is on the side of your hip, and it is responsible for hip abduction, so taking your leg away from your body. So if this is an issue with clients, I'll use a band and I'll put it around their thighs just above their knees, and I'll have them perform deadlifts and squats with this band. On a lunge, I'll hook a band off to the side. Either I'll hold on to the band or we'll loop it around a post or something. Okay, but you'll notice that then this causes the weight to shift more to the outside of the foot, and it causes that arch in the foot to reappear again like magic. Okay, once you do a little bit of practice with this, then I recommend just getting rid of the band and trying to do it without. Okay, anytime you squat or deadlift, I like to cue clients like you're trying to turn your toes out, but you're not actually turning your toes out. Okay, but as you see, as I do that, notice how that changes where my knee sits. Right? When I do that, shifting the weight to the outside of the feet or trying to bring the toes apart, notice how that shifts my knees out as well. Okay, now if you do all these things for a week or two and you're noticing no progress whatsoever, then I recommend making an appointment with an athletic therapist or a physiotherapist, because it could be more like you have a joint issue problem, maybe your lower leg's not sitting on your ankle bones properly, so then that's causing issues. But don't think it's just something that you can't do anything about. It is probably something you can do something about, and it's probably something that doesn't even need surgery if you get it soon enough. So definitely address it now before it ends up leading to pain and injury down the road. Hope you enjoyed. See you on the next episode of Trainer Tip of the Week.